All right, I think we're back. Are we
All
back?
right. I think we are. Can you hear us?
I hear you.
Nope. Okay, you good? You do? Awesome.
Yep, I
Good
hear you.
deal.
All right, I think I got all the switches switched again. We're going at it again. So you've left the city. You are marching south. There is only one road that goes south, one major road anyway. It is. I don't have the map in front of me. There was the Long Road and the King's Road. I'm trying to remember which is which. It is one of the major roads. We'll run with it for a minute. That goes south. You know that goes toward Baldur's Gate, and he said it was toward Baldur's Gate, so that's where you're headed. Yeah, so you're marching along. Unless you guys have a different plan, that's kind of where I'm assuming you're going. You guys tell me if you have a different thought about where you want to go.
Grodan's marching to specifically where where the
Well,
where the auction master told him.
He
Like,
said he's off Market Road, but that it's like saying it's off Del Rio. Where's Del Rio?
yeah.
I mean,
I guess we just walk until we find a Market Road.
all right.
That usually works for us.
Sure. Let's see.
That's what Grodan's doing in any case. He's keeping an eye out for it.
All right, those are all maps of dungeon areas, which aren't going to help you any. Because this kind of actually does matter when we get to certain points here. So one moment. You, Mr. Grodan, have never been this far south in your travels. The rest of you, being not from this realm, have never been this far south ever. Aha, there they are. Found them. Let's see. That's not it. Waterdeep is where we are. You haven't been there yet. You haven't been there. You're going there. All right. Sorry about that. So you are going down the long road, and it seems to wind south. At some point, you see it does split off, and there isn't a signpost here. You can tell that both trails are very heavily worn, so there's a lot of traffic that goes through these two particular directions. It's just a Y in the road, a fork in the road.
And there is no sign?
There's no sign that says, Baldur's Gate this way.
So they have a map, right?
Do you still have the maps?
Has the maps?
I would still have any maps that you gave me. I kept all of them.
Do you still have the maps?
I'm looking and I haven't found it. I've been looking for like 2 minutes.
How many photos do you have?
I have a lot.
I mean, I'm more to talk.
I have a zoomed out picture.
One seems to veer off left and the other seems to veer off right.
Does he know where Troll Country is? Is it literally on the way, like, to Baldur's Gate, or is it, like, off to the side?
You know that there's an area of the wildlands that you're in that is very heavily populated by trolls and ogres and the larger, more violent races. They seem to do a lot of... They do a lot of... just like... I'd say hold-ups, stick-ups, but banditry. You know, pay me or I will smash you. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I found the map.
You found the map. There's a fork in the road.
Yes, is the fork in the road right after the Waterdeep forest? Did we pass that?
The what?
Or are we going the other way?
You're going.
Which direction are we going?
You're
on the
going
map?
south.
All right. Because I only have the corner of a map.
What? I didn't
So
hear what you
look
said.
at the map.
You were going
Oh.
south, and
I have a map that shows Waterdeep and Red Larch and the mountains and then the forest that's in between Waterdeep and Red Larch.
So we don't know much about the map as players, but
Right.
if
Your
Grodan were
characters-
to roll a survival and look at that, would he be able to maybe discern a little bit more?
Grodan would know, because you at least know of the area. So yeah, Grodan could give me a survival check to try to figure out, okay, where are we? Let me switch.
Oh my god.
What did you roll? I didn't see. A 6. You
6.
rolled a 6. You look at the map and you're not really sure she's holding it upside down. If so, that would be north, which would be the total wrong direction. Well, maybe that's south. Not really sure.
He's not thinking clearly because he's so distraught.
And you have marched, let's see here. How far is that? Oh, because that was like a 2-day journey that far. So it is well approaching night at this point. You've been moving at a fairly quick clip, but
Yeah, Grodan looks back at his friends and just to see what they look like, or how they're holding up, because right now he's driven by he's very driven, so he could keep going, but
Beskar looks like he's been stabbed.
Beskar has a pretty good sized wound in the chest. Aslaneve probably needs to make a Constitution check if he's trying to run for 7.5 hours to keep up with you.
That's fair.
I also have injuries.
What if we all ride on Grodan's back and
Can he carry all
Yoda
of us?
style?
11.
You don't
dies.
face an exhaustion point, but man, you're tired. It's kind of got to catch your breath. You got that stitch in the side. Your side almost looks like Beskar's does, or feels like Beskar's looks.
And it was like, Grodan, Grodan, Grodan. He's like out of breath. I think
very well.
you need
We
to
can
slow down
rest.
because I'm short and I have small legs. And I'm also not as physically fit as the rest of you.
We can rest.
Oh, thank God. Oh, praise whatever God is listening to. Because I'm tired.
So yeah, Grodan gets out his stuff to put up the tarp and
The tarp,
everything they need to make camp.
yeah, the tarp was being used as a makeshift gold sling, if I remember correctly.
And he spent all of that on that
immovable
immovable
rod.
rod.
Yes, he did. Okay.
So he
You have
has the
the tarp
tarp again.
You have the tarp back. All right, so you set up your tarp to make a nice shelter, keep the dew and elements off of you. It is starting to get a little bit windy, and
He is going to use a movable rod to help make the tent.
you hold it up and then strap the tarp over that so that it holds it in place. Sure.
Yep. He's going to utilize this thing all the time now.
All right, so you strap the tarp in place. I'm surprised. Well, no, not gonna go there. All right, so night has set upon you. By the time you finish setting up camp, it is well into dark. You get this small campfire going and listening to things on the edge. You hear small woodland creatures scurrying around, but you don't sense any imposing doom or anything.
I will take first watch.
Rolls.
Taking second.
I'll take second.
Then I guess I'll take third.
So yeah, after that, Grodan gets out and gets ready to start taking his watch for the night.
All right. What are the rest of you doing?
Just going to bed.
I will cast message to my father.
You mean sending?
Yeah, sending. Last one. Yeah.
Right.
That one.
I got you. I figured.
And I will say, so I got your letter finally. What are these two coins? Are these the Triforce? What are they?
You go to
Do we
cast the
know?
spell, and you've felt that connection before. It's not necessarily that you hear the other person's thoughts, but you feel like this hum of connection, like a dial tone. You know, this you can tell you're connecting now. You can start talking. You know, you don't feel that hum. You don't feel that connection.
Oh God, your parents are dead.
Oh no.
I sending to my mom. Hello. Hello. Anyone there? What are these two?
You cast
doing?
again and again, nothingness. It's like
Oh
silence.
God, your parents are super dead.
Silence has taken over.
So guys, my parents might be dead.
As in, it's like, I don't want to be
That-
rude, but why do I care?
That is extremely rude.
Have you tried sending to Sora?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Just talking to him and see if, like, you know,
What did the letter say about Sorrel? Because I remember it mentioned him.
just message him and be like, "Yo, dude, anything new in town? Are we able to come back and don't mention our parents at all? Is that something you can do?"
He mentioned Sorrel in the letter.
Let's see. He said. Oh, that's page 2. Let's go look at page 1.
Yeah, nope. He said, neither Althea nor Sorrel know that we have paid to smuggle these out of the city.
We don't have to tell them that though. We can
Well,
just
then-
ask him if anything new has happened in town.
Alright, yeah, I'll cast sending to Sorrel and be
Okay.
like, so has anything happened in the city? Have my parents come back yet? Because they said they were, you said that they were on their way to the city.
You hear this muffled. Who's? Oh, Beskar. Oh, Beskar, you're alive. You.
Yes.
You can't
You need-
respond.
We need your help. Althea's overthrown us. Started a coup. I'm down in the dungeons. And that's all you get.
Okay.
Like,
Super
oh,
predictable.
Who could have warned you?
Should we have said,
Anyways,
do we even need to go back? We don't technically have a reason.
I mean, our parents.
I know, but if they're already dead and then they killed Ren, what's the point of going back?
Did they kill Ren? No,
I don't know.
Kill Ren.
How do you know?
We could go back and kill Ren. You know that's them.
I'm pretty sure Althea also wants us dead.
So does everyone else. Honestly.
I just don't know if we'll be able to get it. Also, I don't think Grodan and Aslan want to go back to Bexley, though.
Alright, so, group. Althea overthrew Sorrel with a coup, and I cannot reach my parents with the unlimited range spell of sending.
So,
Right?
he's talking to the team, right?
Yes.
As far as I know.
Okay, so as in he was like, and did we not say that that was going to happen, but they refused to listen to us? I say we let
We did
them
say
deal
that
with the
several
consequences
times.
of their actions.
But they're our parents.
But what would going
I,
back?
I do not believe that I have the same sentiment on parents that other species do. Generally, we are separated at a young age for our vocations. I know my parents, but it is not the same relationship that
And to be fair,
you
we
would have.
only met them once.
As in he was like, you don't even know them. What is the point of going
For
and
a
risking death to stop a coup we warned everyone about, and then they cast us out of the city for it?
Technically, they imprisoned us. We escaped.
Okay, just for the sake of listeners and to refresh your memory, not that Aslan believes any differently, because I'm sure he believes that it was thoroughly unjustified. You broke into the High Council's house, tried to pretend to be him, broke in again, tried to charm the guard, and then steal his stuff. I'm just saying. Okay,
I also tried to
After he
stab a
turned me
person
into
in the
stone.
courtroom.
just
I also
saying.
tried to stab someone in the courtroom. I'm
I
not
think we
saying
should let
didn't
that
do
city
any
burn
crimes.
and just be done with it.
I just feel like we should have spent more time with our parents before they died.
True, but what would going back fix?
We could go kill Ren.
What if he's already dead?
Do you not want to do it yourself?
True. Try
Not that we
sending
could
him
go
in.
free them. Not that we could go save the city. No, we could go kill Ren.
We don't care about the shit. They
I'm
hated us.
speaking to co-strengths.
I'm sorry. I interrupted. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Try sending a message to Ren. See if he responds.
Right.
See if he's alive.
How many do you have
Consult
left?
him.
Messages. How many sendings do you have?
I'm probably out because it's like what 3 at a time.
I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's a 3rd level spell. You have 3 3rd level, and then you have 2 4th level.
Oh,
So you
You
could
can
do
send
2
it
more.
5 times.
Yeah, you could do 2 more if you wanted to.
I'll
Sure.
send one to Ren, and what should I say, guys?
Tell him how much we hate him and that we hope he's dead. And if he is alive, we're gonna go kill him. Anyone want to add anything?
I do not care because my ox is missing.
Awesome name. I know you have words.
Aslan didn't
I'm
know
sorry,
him.
what?
Awesome name, you have words, Ren.
Aslan was literally a statue when we
No.
found Ren.
No, Ren and Azanif met each other.
Yeah, but it was for like 30 minutes.
No,
Before
they
you
knew each
betrayed
other
us.
before.
Aslan's like,
It was like a day.
It wasn't
Aslan's
that
like,
long.
why would I care about Ren?
We care. Send a
We
message to him.
We're very petty.
They're gonna send a message to Ren?
Yeah,
called
just
hate
to see if
mail.
he's alive.
Man, I really wish I had Anion on this. I cast message to Ren and say, "Yo, butthead, watch yourself."
That's it.
That's it.
Does Ren get that message?
Ren gets the message, and you hear this. Who is this again? Oh, right. The ones in the dungeon. Oh, I know you're not there. We've already been there. Don't worry. Althea and I have a plan.
Right. Well then. Althea and Ren are working together, and
Like,
they
we
have
knew
a
they
plan.
You
And
know,
they know we're not in the dungeon, which
if we
that
had
was like a
wished for
month
a
ago.
dragon, we would have been able to destroy the town.
yeah.
You-
Why did you not wish for a dragon?
Aslan is like, you idiots don't know how the spell even works. So how are you to dictate
It's
to
a
me
wish
how to
spell.
cast the
Like,
spell?
you
I
just
know what
wish
a
for
wish
something and
is.
it happens, right?
No,
Wish
that's
for an
not how it
action.
works at
Wish
all.
for a dragon.
You
And
can
you
use
don't
the
have spells
spell
work, do you?
to cast any other spell you want. But if the spell deviates from the norm, then it has a risk factor. Yeah,
You're
I could
telling
summon
me
a
Yeah.
dragon. I could summon
You're
a dragon
telling
all I want, but will it be friendly to us? Probably not.
You're telling me there isn't a spell to summon and tame a magical dragon.
Yes, it's possible, but with risks. Risks
What
that we are
risks?
well ill-equipped to deal with.
Risks that would be the most powerful people in the world?
You all should
If-
sleep.
It's like, if we subdue the dragon. If, that's a big if. Just because we got some weakened Draco Lich defeated, that doesn't count. We should not be too proud about that. That was a weakened
What are you
Lich.
talking about? Your
I
ego
would
is
be
huge.
extremely proud, Mr. Egotistical Bighead.
And I get that, but this is the egotistical person telling you that we should be proud but not proud. Among a full-fledged Lich, we would stand probably no chance as we are right now.
Was that not a full-fledged Lich?
That was not a full-fledged Lich.
It killed Arnie and Grodan.
Arnie was weak.
Also, it
Arnie
didn't
was a
kill
friend.
The
Grodan.
Lich did not kill me.
This is true.
The rock things killed him.
The rock things.
Everything except for the Lich killed us. Wow. The Lich was weak. It was
We
everything
were
else around it
we
that
were
was strong.
prepared for the Lich. We weren't prepared for anything else.
Regardless, you should all sleep.
Fine. And then I cry.
We have to make time.
Very well.
So, now here's the question, Grodan. I'm thinking about the way the map is set up. If we make it to the and grab Borko, would we still be able to get to Daxlitha by
So, yeah.
that way?
You are going the
It is in the opposite direction.
Like, it goes northeast and you're going southeast. It's like a 90-degree.
Mm.
So you're going that way, and
Oh,
you need to be
well-
that way. By
Well, I
like
say
5
fuck that
days,
city.
you know. I mean, it's not just a little bit. It's like multiple days away in each direction.
So, well, I
While I do
I say-
wish to help a few friends that we made in Daxlitha, when it comes down to it, they made their own grave.
I completely agree.
They
I
had
think we
clear allegations of treason and misdeeds, and they chose to ignore them. While I am saddened for the plight of those who are oppressed by this, again, they made their own situation.
Fine.
Sadly,
I go to sleep, and
I agree.
Swear an oath to become the Batman and avenge Batman's death.
So your oath of vengeance paladin now?
Yeah.
Well, you're not far off, actually. You're a cleric, so All right. So who's taking the first watch again?
Grodan is.
Roll me a perception check. And meanwhile, I'm going to see if you actually see anything.
And he's going to be keeping an eye and a nose out. So he'll be using his scent advantage. Not bad. So 21 for visual perception
Yeah.
and 16 for scent. He does have his torch out, but he's not using the true sight.
All right. So you have the torch out and you're looking around and you see off in the distance what looks to be a very large bear, but seeing the very large elephant man, you both respect each other enough to keep a fair distance.
His quarrel's not with the bear unless it comes at him.
Right. And the bear's like, my quarrel's not with you, I'm just hungry. So he's, keeps on moving. Your shift otherwise goes without incident.
Who was taking second watch again?
I don't know.
Beskar.
Grodan goes over and wakes Beskar. Beskar,
Yeah, I know.
I apologize for the situation your parents and your people are in. Perhaps there is something we can do after I find Borko, but it is a rough situation that they themselves put themselves in.
And I will swear an oath of vengeance, and I will avenge them. I will go on a crusade to avenge crime.
Very well.
Yes, avenge crime.
But I do cry.
Good luck.
Ko definitely does crime.
That's all I
20.
do.
Unnatural.
You've done crime.
All right, so you are taking your next watch, or did you want to have a conversation, Grodan?
No, Grodan just said that to him and then
Okay.
goes, as he woke him up, and then goes to sleep.
So, Mr. Beskar, you take your watch. Was that your roll? Was the 20?
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
you're looking around and you hear things off in the distance. The birds and a howl every now and then from coyote or some other wolf-like animal. The campfire is nice and warm and takes the chill off the night air. Meanwhile, Aslaniv, you never mentioned anything about the pendant. I gave you multiple opportunities and at least one good watch. It seems in all the chaos.
Bad. I totally forgot about it.
Yes, you did. And you didn't put it on. As such, you try to get comfortable, try to sleep, and sleep just seems to evade you. Eventually, you do feel your mind start to relax a little bit, and the universe goes kind of a cold and gray. One moment. You gotta see which one that is. Oh, 1 second.
You die.
Yeah, pretty much. You died. I have to go find my notes again here. 1 second. There it is. Bam. Okay. Setting the scene. Ooh. You feel this void of nothingness, and you open your eyes.
Okay, my bad. I dropped out. What did I miss?
Nothing. I was trying to find an image.
Okay.
You wake up or try to sleep actually, and can't, and you find yourself in this void of blackness. You look down to see what you're standing on because you feel solid under your feet, and there's nothing there. It's just
Oh joy.
darkness all around you, and you hear Nethys' familiar voice. What in all of the abyssal realms have you done?
So, and Azanu's kind of like twiddling his fingers. So, in order to get back to Waterdeep,
How am I supposed to ever trust? She just talks right over you. How am I supposed to ever trust you to get things done if you keep doing stupid things like selling slices of your soul?
Well, I'm doing what you asked, It may not be in the conventional way that you may have thought I would have done it, but
Did you
I'm
destroy the
doing
Brotherhood?
it. No, I have to get to Baldur's Gate to get back to our realm to do that.
Did you find the portals of Lothar?
No,
So what exactly are you doing for me?
I'm trying to get back to Baldur's Gate so I can transport back to my realm to do what you asked me to do. I know this is really a long way of doing what I asked you to do, but what you asked me to do, but it's not exactly working out as easy as you think you do. I'm not a god, so I can't just zip my way to wherever you want me to be. I have to walk.
Roll a persuasion check to see how persuasive that whole "I'm not a god" concept is to her. See if she cares.
6.
You start in on that, and she's like, I did not ask you to be deified. I asked you to simply get it done. I gave you my book. I gave you abilities and skills and knowledge. And what have you done with that knowledge? You chased down a Dracolich.
Mind you, that I'm not the only person in this party, and I can't do this on my own, despite what you think. I need allies.
Ah, that is the first wise thing you've said since we met. Now, get yourself back. And how you break this contract, keep in mind, they are very binding. But find your way out of it as quickly as you can. By the way, and she hands you the box that the necklace is in. Don't forget this. One wrong move and he owns you.
Well, we don't want that, because then you wouldn't own me, right?
She just glares at you. You want the powers. You want the abilities. Don't backtalk me. And
Then,
with that, she
as an
vanishes.
Eve, he just rolls his eyes.
Typical teenager, yes.
I guess he wakes up at this point from his
Yes,
small
because
nap.
you're not sleeping. You're
Oh,
trying to, but you can't quite get comfortable.
okay. Azani takes out the box out of his bag and puts on the necklace.
As you put the necklace on, you feel your eyelids get heavy and you hear this soft sigh in your mind like, oh, yes, there it is. And you begin to drift off to sleep finally.
Well, fun.
That's what happens when you sell a slice of your soul for a wish coin.
Stand by my decision.
All right. So, Beskar's watch goes fairly without incident. Who was taking third watch?
I was. $21.
Nope. So you look around and it's very quiet night. You see a squirrel every now and then come scurrying up somewhere and darting back as the sun starts to crest over the horizon.
Yeah, Grodan. As soon as the light hits, Grodan's awake.
Ko, since you are up at sunlight, as the first rays of light come over the horizon, your necklace glows and feels very warm against your chest.
Yeah, okay, I'll rechart it because I actually haven't.
And it is a new day.
Woohoo!
Why is there so many magical necklaces in this group?
Because you guys started off without a healer, that's why. All right, so for sake of clarity here, let me. You guys took a break at the south edge of the Waterdeep forest, and I will. Here, I can do it this way. Screenshot. Grab that. Open an editor. Coming.
So is this road heavily traveled?
Yes, both of these. One is a little more. It's the trade way, by the way, not the long road. Sorry. It's a very major trade route between Waterdeep and the southern cities.
And he didn't see any markings on the map about this Market Street or anything, did he? Or Market Road?
Nope. Not on Ko's map. He doesn't have a map of his own, and he's never been this far south.
All right, so he asked Ko to get the map out again, and he wants to try another survival.
All right, and you see on the map this Secomber. And Secomber is the name of the other city, much like Red Larch, that is in the Wildlands as compared to being in a kingdom. The Wildlands aren't really all that wild. They're not that much more difficult than any other place. It's just they're called that because they don't have a king or a ruler. Everybody's left up to their own devices.
Yeah.
And Secomber's in the Wildlands barely, and it's one of the places that you recognize as where Flagenscheid was going next, because he wasn't going to go, quote, all the way to Baldur's Gate, because it's too rough there. Can't make any money.
Who's Flagenscheid?
Flagenscheid, the guy who owned the fighting ring / carnival.
Yes.
Flagenscheid's wondrous event management.
He rolled a 13, so not a whole lot better, but slightly better. It's double what he rolled before. Would it make sense to him that like this guy would probably live close to Seconder?
I'm going to copy this and paste this in general chat here. Bam. So the arrow, that's where you guys camped. You camped just south of Waterdeep. And Secomber's you can see over on the right-hand side. And you get the idea, the tradeway, now that you see the name clearer in the daylight, that's the major route between Waterdeep and the southern cities, including Baldur's Gate.
Yep.
So at 13, you'd be able to go, oh, wait a minute. Nope, we want to take the right-hand fork.
Gotcha. So we want to go towards that to get to...
You know that Baldur's Gate is at least on the big road past Daggerford.
Yes. But he's also looking for where where the guy that bought Borko might be going.
Right.
But he sees that Daggerford's ahead. Maybe somebody in that town would know more about.
Possible.
That's a town, right? Daggerford.
Yeah, it is a town. It's on the road.
Yeah, but somebody else might know more about that, where that's at. So yeah, I guess they'll just make their way to Daggerford.
All right. Let me show the map so they can see it. Oh, I didn't fix my curtain after intermission. There we go. All right. So you guys are headed that direction, a little south into Daggerford.
Yep.
The day is yours. You get up, you pack up your belongings, And off you go. What you doing?
Right? Are we in the town yet?
We can fast forward there. Is there anything you guys want to talk about slash do on the way there? We can fast forward straight there if you want.
No, Grodan wants to make haste. He's in a very what's the like he's in a distress he's in a distressed state because he wants to find his ox.
Right. All right. So you march along for a good 6 hours or so. You eventually come to the outskirts of a sprawling little. It's not nearly the size of Waterdeep. Daggerford is more of a small town versus a major metropolis. There's no city wall around it. There's not any kind of protection. It is just something straddling a road with a bridge that goes over the river. And you see huts and buildings. You believe that you may see a sign as you pass down one of the main streets that shows an inn. Shows a bed with someone sleeping in it.
Yeah. So Grodan will go to the inn because that's usually the best place to get information.
All right. So you wander on in. Wander in. You get there and you see a young woman, a human, sitting behind a desk reading a book, and she looks up. Oh, hello. Are you checking in?
Hello. I am actually looking for some information on the countryside.
Oh, well, anything I can do to help. What was your name again?
My name is Grodan Malfour.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you, Grodan. I'm Elizabeth.
So, did Grodan get the name of that farmer? I'm assuming he did because he gave him the info.
It was. If you didn't write it down, Grodan's memory is flaky.
I don't remember. Well, I mean, he's an elephant. He's not going to forget. I didn't remember hearing you say his name. You just said where he was heading.
Yeah, I forgot the name. I've already. So you talked to Draven Coinwallow.
Yep.
It is Draylen Goodwine.
All right. Are you familiar with someone by the name of Draylen Goodwine?
No, I can't say as I am. I don't get a lot of repeat customers. We see a lot of travel through here, but not usually the same ones over and over.
How familiar are you with, what is it, the Trolllands?
Oh, the troll.
Or Troll Country.
Troll Country, yes, you are just on the northern edge of the Misty Forest. You go just over this river and things get a little bit hairy. So do be careful if you're traveling south.
Are you familiar with the Market Road?
Market Road. Well, that would probably be right off Trade Way. I would just stay
Was it
on
the
that.
fork before here?
Oh, let's see. It would probably be between the Misty Forest and Trollbark Forest. That's a very rough area, though. I would be very careful if I was going through there. Perhaps take a extra, torch or two to light your way, and maybe a armed. Well, you wouldn't need an armed guard. You could probably be an armed guard. You can tell she's like really flustered.
I appreciate the information. And he takes out 5 silver and hands it to her.
Oh, so you are renting a room then?
No, this is for the information. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it very much, but I don't need it. I would give it for free anyway. It's okay. And she hands it back.
I am not used to this kindness in this land. Thank you.
Well, we're nice around here. Can't say much about them Waterdeep folk, but we're right tolerable, I think.
Oh, you can say a lot about that.
In my opinion, you are much better than anyone in Waterdeep.
Oh, thank you. So, if you would like to stay here for a day or two, you are more than welcome, but I do understand. The room
I am
rates, in
looking
case you're
for.
wondering, are 5 gold a night, or 5 silver a night. That's why I thought you were paying me.
No,
And
I
and you
appreciate.
know that is a very, even in Waterdeep, that would be a very nice amount.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your kindness. We must be forward. We have to attempt to find a dear friend of mine.
Oh, no problem. I understand. What is their name?
He is an ox named Borko.
And she kind of waits a minute. You can tell she skips a beat as she's putting pieces together. Oh, an ox. Oh, I thought you were referring to well, person. But okay, yes, sure, an ox. Okay.
I appreciate the information and the kindness, but we must be on our way.
Well, you have a great day.
You as well. So yeah, Grodan's gonna start down towards the way that she mentioned. If he sees anybody who looks, I guess, relatively seasoned, whether it be like a town guard or anything, he may approach them.
Yeah, you do see some people in uniform. They don't seem to have consistent uniform, but you would guess that these are probably the people who are keeping an eye on things. Um, being as far out as they
Does he
are,
see
they
like,
don't have Kingsguard here because they're not in
yeah,
the kingdom.
but
They
kind of
have
like the sheriff,
vigilantes.
like yeah, like kind of like the sheriff, like Red March
Harburg.
had.
Yeah, Harburg.
Yeah. Um, does Grodan see one that looks maybe like he's more capable, possibly in charge?
Sure, there would be someone who's got, kind of walking a little
Yep.
chin higher.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. What can I do for you?
Are you familiar with the surrounding land?
I've traveled quite a bit. Make my way to Waterdeep quite often. Baldur's Gate if I absolutely have to.
Are you familiar with many of the people who live in the surrounding area?
Oh, not really. No, the town, Daggerford, yeah. But beyond that, I don't know names very well. Have a hard enough time remembering my own sometimes.
Do you know where the Market Road is in Troll Country?
Market Road, sure. You just go right down Trade Way. You get about halfway to Dragonspear Castle. There's going to be quite a bit of commotion around there. Probably, I'd be very careful. But if you get about there, you'll see some rock formations on the right. You want to head left. Don't go to the rock formations. Generally, not a good idea. A lot of trolls hide out there to ambush people.
Thank you for the information.
Oh, you're welcome. Do be careful if you're going south.
We intend to be careful. Good luck guarding your town.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Do I need it? Are you do I need to be aware?
No, I was just wishing you good luck in
Oh,
the endeavor of guarding your town.
right. You can tell he's not the brightest bunch. Right. Okay. Well, good on you then.
Thank you. And he looks back at the group and kind of nods like they're heading forward. And he does. And at the fast pace still. Even more so that he kind of has an idea of where, Borko is.
All right. What are the rest of you
The
doing?
plan is
I guess I'm following Grodan.
we follow and we devise a plan. The plan is
We killed the
me
dude who
and
took
Co.
Borko.
What?
We killed the dude who took Borko.
I have acquired the money that he paid for Borko,
If he
and
doesn't
I
give
plan on giving it back to him. If he refuses, we will go from there.
if he refuses, we kill him, right?
What if we disguise Grodan as an ox and we say that
What?
someone stole his son.
I have no time for
As
this,
you just cuts
Beskar.
Beskar off. No.
What? How would
Normally, I find your harebrained ideas entertaining. But right now, I'm going to keep it as simple as possible and get my ox back.
Yeah, well, we will go your route.
So
My theory was
we
that,
must
well,
make
the ox is
haste.
ours, I'll give it back to him free of charge.
I don't think oxes care. Usually.
No, but with enough emotion.
I plan on paying the gentleman what he paid for Borko and
if he
continuing from there.
If he doesn't,
While also explaining the situation. If he
doesn't,
refuses, then I will resort to other options.
As an
And-
said, he will die.
if for
That's
some
when it gets a
reason
zombie.
something has happened to Borko, you still kill the dude.
Well, it depends on how many witnesses there are. If we can get away with it.
If
I like
there's
that.
more than
Let's
3
go.
you don't kill him.
And if
Otherwise, we kill him, and then we
he
kill all
has
the
a
witnesses.
family,
I do not believe this man was at fault.
So then he should.
So I would like to end this. I would like to resolve this without bloodshed, if possible.
if he's a jerk, we kill him.
Oh, that's how most people are.
Actually, yeah.
The
let's
Xander's
go.
a jerk.
So we should
I'll
continue.
I'm assuming you
Yeah.
guys are having this bit of banter as you are.
Yes,
continuing
while
on the
we're
road.
walking.
Yes. Yes. All right. So you continue along the way. Anything specific you guys have in mind for your travels?
Nope.
What's the marching
Nope.
order?
Grodan's,
Just so we know.
Grodan's up front.
Grodan's up front, and everyone is too scared to go in front of him.
And he's as fast as he is marching. Grodan, this has been well over 24 hours. I know you have a high constitution, high stamina thing going on,
Rested.
but you are probably starting to feel the effects. I need a constitution check from you. 'Cause
Well,
you've been
we
pushing-
rested though, right?
Yeah, but you've been pushing for like 8 hours now at high march, basically.
He's from the military. I mean, that's nothing for him. But I will do that.
Just to see what I mean, it doesn't have to be an extremely high DC, but you know, he's going to start feeling an effect here pretty soon.
20.
You're great. You're great. You're marching right along.
If he sees them lagging back, he might slow down a little bit, but he's definitely keeping a fast pace.
All right, so you are marching along. Let me grab the mouse here. Just for we have Grodan. Oh, we got to do it over here.
He's marching like his army's trying to, get a flanking maneuver on somebody. Like, it's definitely with purpose.
Yeah. So we have Grodan.
I can't see anything.
Yeah, hold on a sec. I'm moving things around here. Grodan is first. Who's following behind Grodan?
I'll do it.
As an Eve.
I'll be in the back.
Beskar is behind Aslaniv. Ko is taking up the back. Alright, so I'm going to transition that. There we go. So that's the marching order. You guys are going along. Since Grodan is leading, and he does have smell advantage, roll with advantage a perception check, please. I'm going to put my fidget toys away, sorry. Fidget toys!
Ooh.
You are going along.
Nope, that's not what. Sorry, 1 second. I got pulled out of the dice roll. Alright, 1.
That's right. That's not with advantage. Let's go with the advantage. Roll big. There we go.
17.
That's a little better. You don't see anything, but you smell like it's like swamp water. It's got this kind of like dank, moldy, musty, scaly, fishy smell to it, and you smell something just doesn't fit the area. The area is a green forest, lush area, not dirt and moss and that kind of dampness. This is like swamp water, and you smell something different. It's out of place.
So it's not in place with like the area.
Correct.
And is the smell getting stronger at all?
Yes.
Is it getting stronger in a way that he would be able to tell, like, if it is moving?
You stop and you realize it's getting stronger when you stop. So it's approaching you, whatever it is.
Can he get a sense of the direction?
Nope. It's just the
So-
smell around you, and you're like, "What is that?"
He can smell it moving, and he automatically doesn't like that, so he draws his sword.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we're talking about swords now.
So everybody's looking
What's
around.
the
You
deal
see,
with Grodan?
you see Grodan just go.
Well, he went from like a full march to a dead stop, and then like you saw him like periscoping his nose like up in the air, like so you know that he's smelling something, and then he draws the sword.
Alright.
Azandi's been following close behind him, so he bumps into Grodan.
You should pay attention, Aslaniv.
I'm not that stupid, so I don't.
Wow. Play the joke, go.
I refuse.
So yeah, he's keeping an eye out and looking for anything that moves or any changes.
All right.
While also, still smelling the air and.
So someone give a group perception. Who's going to do that?
Grodan is the best.
All right.
So
I can give you,
just a straight D20 for this, right?
Well, you can do it with advantage. You are still sniffing.
I can give you inspiration.
Yeah, I won't say no to inspiration, but I just rolled already.
If the DM says
14.
inspiration.
The smell of the forest gets in the way, but you think you see some movement in the top of the tree, and you start to look up and you realize that there's something moving in the top of the trees. You think you see some green scale, a flash of
Groden's
silveriness.
He doesn't know what this is. He is going to cautiously and kind of wave them on, but with the sword, cautiously keep an eye on it and start moving.
As you
Just
move-
down towards along the road.
Right. As you move, you're looking around and you get out of range of one tree and you just keep an eye on it and you see something scurry down the back of the tree, trying to be out of your view, but not succeeding 100%. And you see it scurry from spot to spot until it gets to another tree ahead of you and climbs back up.
So Groden
So you've seen
says,
this
yeah.
kind of thing. Let's see what his hide is. Oh no, you get glimpses of it. You don't ever catch it full eye. Like you'll see movement and you'll look and it's a bush, but you know there was something there a second ago.
Groden, just out loud in his normal loud speaking voice,
Because
if you are intelligent, I suggest you come out peacefully. If you attempt to attack, it will not end well for you.
Is that an intimidation, a persuasion? What do you?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and definitely intimidate because
Okay.
giant elephant guy with a sword. That's his. Jeez, every intimidation check that I've rolled tonight.
You're not
5.
very intimidating. You
Oh.
hear?
I'll give you.
So he hears nothing.
Normally, you have to do the inspiration before he gives a number so that you know whether or not to use the inspiration. So, besides, I don't think it would help that much. So we'll hold off on that for a moment. You hear this voice calling back from the bushes. You can't tell exactly where, like, within a 10-degree window here. It's somewhere in that area. You hear, yes, well, you're in our territory. You're in our land.
I am seeking no quarrel, but if you challenge me, it will not end well.
That's what they all say.
Is that what you're saying? My voice cracked hard. I was not intimidating at all.
If you wish to do this, you do so at your own peril.
You have gold? Do you have food? Food.
Yes.
Grodan doesn't have any money.
I'll give you gold to go away.
Huh? Roll a persuasion.
Ooh, give him gold to make sure that nothing else attacks us too.
23.
23. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Two. Give me two, and I will go away. I will run far away.
How about I give you 4 gold and you can help protect us?
Oh, I don't kill myself willingly for other people.
Yet you would challenge me over 2 gold.
Yes, I could take you.
You seem pretty
That is
powerful.
hilarious.
If you're as powerful as you say, I would love to have you as a guardian.
He will pay you 10 gold.
10?
I might be breaking my bank a bit, but I can squeeze in 10 gold.
Oh, what do
So
I have?
like 12
And you
pounds.
see this helmeted, although the helmet's a little crooked, lizard pop its head up over the bush. What would I have to do?
Is this an Arnie?
It looks something like an Arnie, a little bit. What would I have to do?
You would have
We
to
had a
stay
friend
close.
that looked like you one time.
Great. I don't care. What would I have to do? Gold.
You would have to protect us and make sure we are not harmed, any one of us.
Or just prevent other people like you from attacking us.
So if something harms you, I get to keep gold?
If we cannot protect ourselves, you deserve the gold.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
if
I
we get
win.
into a fight, it's supposed to
And the
help
other,
us.
I win,
Fight.
and the other, I win, and now when I win, okay, 10 gold. I will protect you. And he stands out, and you do see the long tail. And as he comes out, you see 3 or 4 more scurry from behind rocks and places, and they're on all fours for a moment, and they stand up on their hind legs and walk for a little bit, and then they run on all fours again, and eventually come up to you and are probably a good 10 feet off, holding spears and swords. Put the gold on the ground. Put the ground.
Right, I put 10 gold on the ground, and I back away.
He looks over at one of the smaller ones, and he has a spear in his hand, and he whacks him on the head. Pick it! He scurries forward and scoops up the gold, and then runs back, very afraid. Okay, we will protect you. Yes, we will. Won't we? And everybody.
Can I insight check them?
Inside check.
Roll an insight. See
Oh, that's
how
what I mean.
insightful you believe them to be. What? To be truthful? To be scared? To be what? What are you inciting?
That they will honor their word.
Are they going
protect
to
us.
stay and actually help us?
And how many did you say there were? 3?
There were 3 additional, so there's a total of 4. and the chieftain.
I rolled a 24.
You are fairly certain that once they get out of eyesight, you probably will never see them again.
Lizard, let me ask you a question.
Yes?
Have you seen a man with a very large ox come through here?
Often?
In the past week.
Trade road.
This,
Lots of people.
this
Lots of oxes.
this ox is larger than normal. He is gray with a white spot over his eye.
Oxes are good to eat. I don't pay attention to color patterns.
This ox would have been very large.
Lots of meat.
You are an imbecile.
Thank you.
He doesn't know what that word is, so he's...
So we will protect you. We will hide in the
Solid.
forest.
And they start backing up. We're going to hide
Yeah,
out of sight.
they're not gonna follow us, guys.
I paid them 20 gold to go away.
Paid them 10 gold.
I paid them 10 gold.
Paid them 10
As a new,
gold.
20 gold.
as a new side, it's like, let's just move on.
At least they'll leave us alone, hopefully.
Yeah.
You did avoid...
If I see you again, I will strike you all down.
Oh, you'll see us. We'll be right in front of you and behind you, protecting our great benefactors.
And they keep backing up,
Definitely.
stepping.
It's not like we could give you more gold if you kept us alive. And I keep on walking.
All right.
Yeah, so Grodan continues on.
You continue on. It is... See, that was there. You go for another probably... So you've been doing walking since morning. You stopped at Daggerford.
Yep.
It's another 2 hours past there. So as it's getting dark, you see a very large outcropping of rocks that looks very much like an ape sitting on its side or something like that. And it's very noticeable that this is not just, generic pile of rocks. This is probably the major outcropping that he mentioned before. And you start looking around and you see little trade routes that branch off to the various other I don't know what's the word I'm looking, villages and such. They're not major.
Yeah,
like, you'll see maybe 2 or 3 people from the village instead of hundreds of people up and down the trade way, right? So
Yeah.
it's basically animal trails that beat down paths more than they are actual cement or gravel or dirt roads.
Grodan has his torch out when it starts to get dark, but do they have signs or anything on them?
Give me a perception check.
Oh man, I've been rolling so bad tonight.
Because it is dark. And you are leading the way.
Okay, 19.
So you're looking around and you see the sign probably no bigger than like pallet wood. Pallet wood's an inch thick by 2 inches wide. It's like a ruler, right? Something about the size of a ruler, tacked up to a tree that's crooked, and it says, not Tradeway. That's the road you're on.
Market Road.
Market Road. There we go. Market Road.
He also rolled 19% while they're moving along. But yeah, so if he sees the Market Road, he's going to branch off of that. He wants to put some distance between them and that outcropping because of that being a known place for trolls to congregate and such.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. All right. So you head the opposite direction toward Trollbark Forest.
Yep.
And as you're walking along, you see several fenced-in areas, although you only see one house in the distance. The fenced-in areas have cattle of different kinds. You see some sheep in one pen area. I say pen, but it's probably a good 20 acres.
Any large oxen?
Yeah, you do see some cow. You don't see any large oxen, but you do see some cows in another one, horses in another area. It's like someone has multiple things going on, and eventually in one area you do see a very large plowed field, a good maybe 30 acres worth of plowed up dirt area, and just behind that you see a house with a very nice barn attached to it. Doesn't seem to be a shack. It seems to be a very well-to-do, well-oiled farm.
Where somebody who had 20 gold could afford.
Probably.
Yep. So he's gonna make his way there then.
Okay, you make your way toward the house.
Yep. And he has a torch out. Like, he's not got the sword or anything drawn. He's trying to be as non-threatening as possible.
All right. So you have your sword out. You approach the
No,
building.
he doesn't. He does not have.
He
does not have the sword out.
You
He's
have the torch. That's what I tried to say. The torch out. You approach the building, and yes, you do. What do you do?
All right. So he goes up to the door and knocks on the door.
All right. Eventually, you hear, "It's late. If you need something, come back tomorrow."
This is an urgent matter.
You hear some shuffling and whispers behind the door. Eventually, the door crinks open a little bit, and there's an old man. He would be probably a halfling, looking around the corner. "I'm sorry, but it is very late. Perhaps you could come back to..." "Oh, you are large. Hello." It finally dawns on him that this isn't a person like this tall. This is like, especially a halfling, right?
Yep.
Hi. Perhaps tomorrow would be a better time to discuss whatever.
I am sorry, it is urgent. Are you Draylen Goodwine?
Yes. He just stands there.
About a week back, you purchased an ox from...
Oh, yes, he's a good working animal. Has been very well behaved.
He is my ox. He was sold unlawfully by...
I bought it at the Waterdeep market. I trust you. Trust me, it is a very reputable place. I don't deal with...
I am not slandering the market. I am slandering the person who sold the ox to the market.
I see. Well, I paid fair money for
it. I
have
brought the money that you have... I have brought the money that you have paid for him to recompensate.
Well,
This is not a matter that I am willing... This is not a matter that I am willing to discuss outside of that. I will give you the money that you paid, and I will take my ox.
You see the field behind me. That is my livelihood, and this ox is to replace the two that died of, well, the trolls were a little more active this year. I didn't have him as well protected as I should have, probably, but I trust...
Which proves to me that you do not deserve to have my dear friend if you could not protect your other ones. You can take the gold and purchase another ox.
Oh, it would take me several more days. It is planting season. I don't have time to go back to the city.
Allow me to be clear. The ox is leaving with me tonight. You can take the money.
As I said, you can come
and
back
be able to purchase another ox. Grodan turns around and goes to the barn and is just going to rip the door off the hinge and take his ox.
All right.
He drops the money. He drops the money on the ground.
Before does any of that, Azanib casts Charm Person.
Okay.
On
Wisdom?
him. And...
Wisdom? Is that what that is? Or...
Wisdom save of 16 or higher.
Oh. 3. Well, hello. I know you, don't I?
Who are you again?
Yes, of course.
Seems so familiar.
Yes, we really need the ox to get to Baldur's Gate. And
I'm
we'd
sure you
appreciate us if you would.
do. Well, I
We would
suppose I could
appreciate
loan
if
him
you
to
give
you
us that
for
ox.
a week or two, if that would help.
That would
There's
be
no
wonderful.
loan. He is my ox.
Yeah, it's in Grodan, and as the name uncharacteristically snaps Grodan, shut up.
It's not really that
Grodan like death glares Hasselneve, like
And he was
he's
like,
liking
fair.
Hasselneve
He's like,
more, but this is his like best friend in the world. This is like if somebody took Clifford from me.
and he's like, and Aslan says, let me help you. Just be quiet.
I could loan him to you for a week or so, I suppose. I swear I know you from somewhere. Where is it we met again?
That is not important, and we don't have the time for it right now.
Oh,
But I will
suppose
gladly accept your offer of a week.
not. That would be.
In
yes, that
fact,
would be wonderful.
my friend Grodan here will give you the 20 gold just to smooth everything over.
Oh, I paid 60
He
for
already
it.
dropped it.
Yeah, I paid 60 for it, but if you're going to bring it back in a week, I suppose 20 would be a good down payment. I'll hold on to it till you bring it back. And he reaches down and picks up the coin. Let
If
me go get
Grodan ever sees that damn auctioneer again,
Let me go get my shoes on. I'll be right back. And he steps inside the house.
Thank you
and
Grodan's
so
closes
much.
the door.
waiting. Like he's going out to
So
this.
kind.
He's getting his ox. Like
Is the wagon anywhere nearby?
You don't see it. Ouch.
Oh my goodness.
As
We
you
might be
go,
able to pay him for it.
as you go out to the
Steal it.
barn, he comes running up with the keys and running behind. Here we are. How long does Charm Person last? Is it an hour or a minute?
I believe so.
Let me check.
I think it's an hour.
I think it's an hour. Charm person. Charm person lasts 1 hour.
All right, so he has plenty of time. Just a moment. Let me. Here we go. And he reaches forward, and you see him beginning to work on a lock on this barn. And you realize the barn, it's troll-proof. This isn't just a shack with a door that happens to have a padlock on it. This thing are built with timbers, like beams, like 10-inch beams, not just as poles, but also as siding. Like this is a very nothing can penetrate this kind of barn. This isn't just, ramshackle thing. And you realize that the people who live here are used to being threatened and battered and extorted. So they protect their items very well. But Charm Person has had a very wonderful effect, and he's more than obliged to get Borko out. And you see him open the door. He pulls, and it's a heavy door, so it takes a lot of his energy to open it, and gets it open just enough for him to shimmy on through, and goes inside, lights a couple lanterns, and you can now see on the inside there's several kinds of work beasts properly stalled along one wall, and you have machinery on the other, for different plows and planting equipment. And he goes. You do see
Is the wagon in there?
You do see the wagon. He has set it up, with different barrels of things to haul to and from the city. And he goes out, and here you are. I've called him Charlie. I'm not sure what you named him, but Charlie's been a good ox. And he begins.
His name is Borko.
Aslan puts his hand up and says, let me handle this board. Let me handle this Grodan.
Of course it is.
I understand.
Oh. And he
It's
unlocks the gate. And
if you would be so kind,
Oh, yes?
could it also be possible that I could borrow your wagon there for a couple of gold pieces?
Of course, well, you need it to get to town with, I suppose, with this many traveling.
Yes, sir.
Of course, that sounds perfectly fair. Why wouldn't it?
We
He
grab
rolled
the
a 1.
nicest wagon,
He
yes.
naturally rolled a 1, so he is oblivious. Of course, yes. That would make perfect sense, I suppose.
Does he have several wagons, or is it just like one wagon?
He has a couple different sized wagons. One for like hauling hay on, another one for that looks like it's got a contraption built into it for scooping things off the ground. This is his only what I would call a market wagon, something that you would just haul goods on.
We take the one that best suits our needs.
Which
The
is,
biggest one.
what are your needs?
The biggest one.
The biggest one.
No, he takes.
Well, not,
Grodan's taking his wagon.
Yeah. We're not going to do any more than we have to. I know this guy's going to be in a bad place after we take Borko. So,
Grodan is going to leave a gold bar
Gold bar.
because he does. Yeah, he had 2 gold bars.
Is that the trade token? Is that what that is?
No, I have the trade token, but I also have 2 gold bars that he was going to save to craft something out of.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
we got him from the Crooked Merchant.
Yes, you did.
you don't have to do that, Grodan. I have money I can give.
Just as a
Plenty of
side
money.
note, you would know the gold bars are worth more than the trade tokens. You can leave it if you still choose to. Just saying.
No, he's not going to leave it.
I will leave 100 gold for him. Okay. That will be perfectly fine.
That is fair.
Do you give it to him or do you just leave it on the sly?
I give it to him, and then I say, "Thank you for your time and
Oh.
your sacrifice."
Well, if no problem. I suppose you. Well, yes. If he's confused, you're borrowing it. You're going to bring it back, right?
of
Well,
course.
yes, but we live dangerous lives, you know. If we-
Yes, the
for
troll
whatever
areas
reason-
are very dangerous. You should be careful out there.
Yeah,
We will.
Yeah. If we, for whatever
In fact,
reason,
it's not really safe to be out tonight. Do you need a place to stay? You could stay here.
There's really no need for that.
yeah,
Aslan
We can
tells
only
Beskar,
stay-
he's like, please stop talking. You're unraveling the spell.
we can only leave. We can only stay for. Yeah.
We
Never.
must go.
We're leaving right now.
I don't really follow, but okay. Well, you do be safe
So-
out there. And
Grodan goes to get Borko. He remembers him, of course.
of course, and
Right.
Borko comes up.
Yeah.
He's very pleased to see you.
And Grodan hugs him like Aang hugged Appa when he got him back.
Aww.
Oh.
But yeah, he goes up and hugs him and pats his head and gets him hooked up to the wagon and then departs. And he's good at hooking this thing up to the wagon because he's done it a lot.
Yeah.
So he does it pretty quickly and gets on and then sets off once
All right.
everybody's in.
So you get to the door, and Borko actually uses his head and pushes it open himself. He's like, I'm out of here. You wander out, and you're into the fresh night air. It is crisp and cool, and stars are brightly twinkling above because you found your friend again.
Yep, Grodan's happy. And instantly you guys see a change in his demeanor. He's back to his normal self.
Aslan sighs and is like, now that that's over, can we please get to Baldur's Gate?
That is the idea. I would go through the same if this happened to you. I hope you understand.
I'm sure.
You know
No.
that
I will.
from here to Baldur's Gate, you had a map, so you could kind of guess that, if you went this far in a day, Baldur's Gate is probably another still 2 days away on the road. You could probably cross over this thing called a Troll Hill. Take a day off that.
I'm sure that's
So the idea that Grodan has is to get far enough away from good wine in his estate, and then also far enough away from like the troll outcropping to camp safely in a place that he can, that he can protect, like
Right.
that is open or sheltered enough that he can protect everybody in.
Right. Open
He
place.
that's the thing. So he knows it. He knows they're going to travel a little bit further, but he wants to just get to a place that looks safe.
Yeah. All right. So you get back on the main road. You see the troll outcropping ahead of you. They rolled another 3, so they are unaware of you. You hear snoring in the distance, very loud snoring. It's dark. It's approaching maybe close to 11, maybe midnight even. You hang a right because Baldur's Gate is this way, and you go another probably hour or so just to make sure you have good distance, and you hear barking and laughing in the distance off in the hills, and you realize you're actually getting closer probably to something than you are getting further from it. You look
Is he
over.
far enough away from like where the trolls were?
Yes, you're far enough away from where that outcropping was, where you heard the snoring, and you
Yeah.
look over and you see a very well kept grounds. Like everything else is overgrown, and all of a sudden you get to mown lawn and nice cement fence with an iron gate. It looks like a very wealthy person lives out in the middle of nowhere.
So what Grodan would want to do is, now that they're far enough away from there, maybe camp along the road, not too close to the rich people's house, just to make them uncomfortable, but just far enough away from the troll encampment.
Yeah. How far would you go away from the rich estate? You don't see a house. You just see acres of very well manicured and stone fence.
I mean, he wants to get far enough away to where it wouldn't be like an uncomfortable situation where guards may not
Yeah.
come after
So
them or anything.
so looking at the map, let me see if I put it on the map before I say that. Did I put it on the map? Come back. Come back. I put it in general. That's where I put it. Oh, there's been dice rolling happening in general. Sorry about that. No, I did not. All right, so let me take a second screenshot. There we go. Copy to clipboard. So I'm going to paste this back in the channel. In general. All right, so you're looking at that. You are, let me switch the screen. So you're over here, and you are looking at, you see the misty forest and the trollbark forest, and there's the little green patch in the middle.
That's the outcropping?
No, the outcropping's on the other side of that. Just north of that is where the farm was. You have now gone to the southern edge of that little green patch, and you're coming up on what looks like Dragonspear Castle.
Okay.
So where are you going in regard to that spot? Are you going back up toward to get away? You said you're trying to get. Are you trying to go back up toward the green spots? Are you trying to go inland toward the Trollbark Forest? Are you trying to go?
How would it be to get to that fork in the road? How long would it take to get to that fork in the road?
You have traveled probably 2 hours 3 hours along the tradeway just from that little bend to this little bend, which I know you can't see me pointing at it, but the bend right before
So
Dragon Spear Castle. So that's probably 4 hours.
he
So
would
you're probably a good day and a half, like day travel to the fork.
Okay, so just ahead of like where like right under where that E is of the Dragon Spear Castle,
Yeah.
kind of backed up against the moor. Actually, yeah, like right below that E and that T in that little curve. That's kind of where he wants to go if he can.
So you're gonna push ahead for another two or three more hours, and then cut in.
Yeah.
All right. So roll a perception check as you march. Are you guys all going with him? I'm assuming.
We're riding on Borko now. We're
Right.
riding in the yeah.
But no one's dissenting and saying, "Wait, where are we going?" or anything like that. You're all just kind of going, "Yep, yep, we're here. We go."
Well, you know, they did commit a crime, and it had a it had a what was the word? It had a time limit on it.
Yeah. All right.
18%.
Okay. You have marched along, and you hear different, like, I won't say screams. They're not scream. High-pitched voices in the distance. Other than that, though, it is a fairly calm night. You hear more pitched voices again. That's about it. Do you set up camp?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Camp is set. What's everyone else doing while he's setting camp?
I'm helping him.
I'm also helping him.
And does Borko look like he was well taken care of, like well fed,
Oh, yeah.
or like
Yeah.
treated or anything?
No, he does not look abused or thin or malnourished in any way.
So yeah, Grodan's going to like once Borko lays down after he gets him out of the harness, he's gonna lay down and do some cuddling with his buddy.
Oh.
And
Grodan's
he
not
walks over and
this
he's
stuff.
like, he tells Grodan, "You're welcome."
Thank you. I do appreciate it. So yeah, he's gonna lay down and cuddle up next to Borko, give him pats and stuff, feed him some treats, and then he did save a little bit of that cactus from over in the other place, and he's gonna give Borko some of that
Okay.
special treat.
Borko
Yeah, then
appreciates
he's
it.
all
You can see him munching on it and
Yep.
like nudging you with his head, like, "Oh."
I will take the third watch.
Alright. I guess I'll take first.
I'll take second.
All right. Roll for watch. What's everyone else doing? Sleeping?
Grodan is sleeping.
Asleep takes out the necklace this time, and he puts it on him before he goes to bed. He doesn't want to get yelled at by Nethys again.
I rolled a 22.
All right. You lay down as Leneve. I'm just kidding. I just got to pick on you. You rolled a 22. You hear screams in these are more than high-pitched voices. You actually hear screaming in the distance. Like a woman in trouble screaming.
Is it nearby?
It's way in the distance. Just to the north.
Could I theoretically send Cheese in that direction? And
Sure.
make him fly above See if he can see anything.
Sure. You grab your pet owl and send him along. He flies up high in the sky. Are you going to close your eyes and take over his vision, or are you just going to let him come back and report? What's your intent?
Yeah, I'll look through his eyes and see what he sees.
Okay. He goes flying high, and you send him north, correct? Toward the sound?
Yeah, towards the sound.
He goes flying high, and he can see where the grass plain starts blending into what appears to be this marshland. There's a set of lights far off ahead and to the left. Looks like maybe a campfire or maybe even a window to some place. It's just a speck of light, but you can tell that there's flame behind it. It flickers and dances. To the right, there is the moon reflecting off bits of water, as patches of water, as it becomes a marshland. Scrub brush, etc., peeking through, causing black dots in the otherwise bright reflections. Which direction are you sending Cheese?
All right, I'm gonna have him go towards the light.
He turns toward the light, and as he gets closer, he can see it is a house. It's a very large house, actually. It probably might even have multiple stories to it. It's lots of windows, and you begins to see that while only 2 or 3 of them are lit, that this building is got lots of openings and windows and places to peer in.
All right, is that where the screaming is coming from?
You haven't heard it since. You heard it 2 or 3 screams, and that was it.
All right, I'll have him kind of like fly around the house and look in the rooms that are lit up. I'll have him look in those specifically.
All right. As he's flying around, he goes first to the one that was lit because that has the most chance of seeing something, of course. And he flies up and lands on the sill and looks in, and he can see this old man leaning over this bloody woman. And he's just like leering at her. Yes. And bends down and begins pulling at her arm and puts his foot on her rib cage and pulls until the socket pops. And she doesn't flinch. She's unconscious, maybe even dead. And he keeps pulling on her.
Does this old man look like something undead or like vampiric?
Roll a perception check. We'll see how perceptive he can be in the moment.
Is this my perception or his perception?
This would be his perception because you're seeing through his eyes. Oh, Jeremy just sent me a note saying he was not feeling well today, laid down for a nap, and just woke up. So hopefully he's not feeling super sickly.
He was shredded of our teleportation magic.
Right? And that'll make anybody sick. All right, so you rolled a 7. It looks like an old man, stringy gray hair, bad smile, maybe? That's about it.
Okay. I'll wait there for a couple more minutes, see what he does, and then I'll have the owl come back.
You see him pull.
So owls don't get advantage on perception, do they?
They do in dark situations.
They have dark vision, but
yeah,
they don't.
Oh, they get advantage on stealth checks.
Right. So, and he's been rolling. I've been rolling for his.
Oh wait, they actually do have advantage on wisdom perception checks that require hearing or sight.
Go ahead and roll again, then.
Really booming.
Sorry, I just wanted to. I knew that there was some bird that had that. What is first?
I know, but like it's like
A 3.
electronically boosted.
It's a natural one.
Yes. So he's an old man. As far as you know, that's he pulls and pulls and eventually the arm comes off. And he begins chewing on the end
Brody.
of it.
Oh yeah, we should stay way, way far away from that.
All right. Is that house in the direction that we're traveling, or is it in the opposite?
You've passed it already.
Oh, okay. I bring cheese back.
You call Cheese back, you let your eyesight return to you, and you look around, and standing
And it's 12
right in front of you
It's 12 goblins.
is a very large troll. And that's where we'll pick up next week, because you didn't wake anyone up, and you went eye blind for a good 30 minutes.
To be fair, I'm not that smart. I don't think ahead.
Even Caleb's all like, here, I'll grab someone's hand and they can tell you
I rolled-
to mess something up.
I rolled a stealth and a perception. A stealth for the troll. He rolled an 18, so I'm like, okay, he's going to be pretty stealthy. And then you went eye blind, and I rolled a perception for the old man / ghoul. And he was rolling like 2s and 3s, so he couldn't see your owl because he didn't even know he was there. So he's like, all right, well, it is what it is. So anyway, when you open your eyes, there's a troll right in front of you, and we'll pick up there next week.
All right.
Ready for the battle next week.
Good game.
Maybe Asher will eventually magically show up.
Perhaps we have to figure out how he gets there, or maybe.
Well, we could say he got there with us, but then decided to go fly around to check out. I mean, he's never been over here, I don't think.
He's never been here, and he's probably going to just pop in via a magical plot hole, wormhole. It's called the plot hole.
Teleported
Yeah.
like 3 miles away. And then
Magic
he
is
checked
mysterious.
before,
Magic is
and then he said
mysterious.
to leave town and then he found us.
Exactly.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, guys.
Yep.
Thank you guys very much. That was a lot of fun. I will see you
Yep.
next week, and we'll see how the trolls go. Dum dum dum.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Good night, guys.